fantastic guests for you now. You'll of course recognise them from the award-winning BBC F1 coverage. It's Jake Humphrey and David Coulthard. Hello chaps.
He's really back again. I think he's growing over Christmas and New Year.
So this is just embarrassing, the height difference. I thought you were supposed to be a racing driver, you're not supposed to be this tall.
Well, he would definitely not make a racing driver at that height. But, it's like having Eddie beside us actually. You're a similar height to EJ, so you just need to change your shirt all the time.
Indeed. So, not long till the new season. I can't believe I looked at it yesterday. I think it's only 63 days until the Australian Grand Prix. Can you believe it? Is it just me, or is the off-season getting shorter and shorter?
I think it's just you. The days are the same. It's still 24 hours in a day. No, they are getting shorter. We're landing now, and it's suddenly Christmas, which is remarkable because I'm still waiting for Christmas present from Labour. Yeah, the winter is short, but that's how we want it, don't we? I mean, how many people, hands up, if you're already bored waiting for the 2012 season to come along? There you go. So we don't want weeks and weeks and weeks to have to move around. It's exciting. A few weeks and the cars will be out on track for the new season. We'll be seeing who's fast and who's slow. And if David's not got the races to go to, he gets himself in trouble. So we need to get the pre-season short and the season long for you.
Well, I think while we're doing a show of hands, how many people here are going to be watching F1 on the BBC next year?
Oh, look at that. Just for the record, that's every hand in the hall, in case anyone is counting, okay?
But there have been big changes, obviously, over the winter in terms of your lineup, but it's still a very strong lineup, isn't it?
Well, actually, I'm going to hand it back because I think Jake, being a proper BBC person, will be able to do the full sales pitch, so I better not cock it up.
Thanks, Ethan. Not my internet something up. No, I think, hello. I think personally, my honest opinion is that we've got the strongest lineup of people on the BBC that we've ever had this year, because for the first time we are going to add to our combination of winning driver and winning team owner a winning car designer. Now, one of the problems that we have in Formula 1 is quite often you'll go up to a team and you'll say, now you see the little issue down here, what is that? And the team boss is something, oh God, if I tell you, they're going to know our secret, that team are going to copy it, within 2 races are going to be slower. So they take you a little 45, and it's a little bit tricky to then get the truth out sometimes. So by having Gary Anderson, who designed the Jordan cars that won races and he's worked for 4 or 5 different Formula 1 teams, he can look at something and he can go, tell me about that. And if they don't give him the genuine reality of what that car is or how it's developed or the benefit for the car, he will be able to work it out for himself. And so I'm hoping that David in the commentary box with Ben Edwards, who for the record I think is the best motorsport commentator in this country, they're going to be a great combination. They're going to have Gary to back them up and give them all the technical information that they need. And we still have Eddie Jordan as well. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. There's one man whooping. One man is excited about EJ being back for next year. But no, we're all really excited. And it is a shame it's going to be different. And we're aware that, for the fans, if they want to see every race live, they are now going to be forced to pay for it. But all we can do at the BBC is to say, look, I'm really sorry, we haven't got the money to pay Bernie Eccleston to have every race live, but for what we do have, we're going to do our very best with it, and we are driven and determined to reward our wonderful BBC F1 viewers with the best coverage that we've ever provided, because that's all that we can do, is try to get the best we can.
And David, when you see Martin Brundle now in the paddock, you can buy anything?
Well, it's competitive, isn't it? And I raced against Martin in Formula 1, and then he was my contractual manager for several years. Martin Brundle, but so we're all buddies, but at the end of the day, we want to do the best job as we possibly can. And I think that Formula 1 fans will be well served, and they'll have lots and lots of choice now. I actually think that what we'll miss in the 10 live races or the 9 live races, and the actual highlight of races, we'll be able to do a lot more analysis, packaging. We're not under pressure at the end of the actual Grand Prix now. We'll be able to spend a couple of hours, really go through, put together hopefully some good video footage and analysis. So the highlight package will be, 90 minutes package? Or 2 hours in some cases, and hopefully we can really summarise very well what happened in that race. The live races, of course, will be exactly as it's done before, but as Jake was mentioning, then we'll have Gary on board to really not make stuff up about the technology. and basically fed. You will have someone who will.
Don't need to rely on EJ's technical knowledge to.
Or mine, you know, we're not designers of racing cars, and Eddie's definitely not. He's a great entrepreneur. But we'll have someone who will be able to look at a part and really explain to us what he thinks the concept might be, and more importantly, what it actually does and why it benefits that part.
And the return of the F1 forum, I believe, is that right, Jay? We're going to be still doing the forum?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, one of the things that we discussed when we knew that we'd lost 10 of the live races was, you know, what can we do for the fans that tries to limit the road? So the first thing we wanted to do was make sure that the highlights programme wasn't 25 minutes on BBC Two at midnight. So we spoke to the BBC and we said, look, what can you give us? So if the race is on at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, our rerun is 2 hours long and it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was the first thing we wanted. The second thing was, where do we put the rerun of the lunchtime races? So if we're not live at the normal 10 past 12, where do they go? And BBC One have been brilliant. They've given us 5:30 to 7 p.m. So we've got 90 minutes prime time Sunday night. So Formula One has never had that kind of slot on British television, so it'll be helped by that. So we're going to do, as David said, masses and masses of post-race analysis, talking about why certain things have happened, and David's got time to watch the footage, and like never before, pause it, rewind it, slow it down, explain why all the rest is out of position, which allows Michael Schumacher to get through, something like that, and do it all properly. But we also said, you know, how can we retain the F1 forum for the races when we're not live on the telly? And that was something that we know people love and that we wanted to keep. So even when the races aren't live, after a short delay after the end of the Grand Prix, you can go onto the BBC website, you can press the red button, and you will see the F1 forum, and you will see Eddie diving in where he shouldn't do, David asking questions to people that they don't want to answer, and me trying to control them. So, you know, we are trying to do the job as best we can.
Do you feel like the teacher sometimes, when you've got EJ on one side here, you've got David?
I feel like an exasperated father. It's difficult. It is difficult. I mean, the problem with these two is that they've got absolutely no discipline. So we're standing there and we've got like 2 minutes to go until we're live on the telly, and I look to my left and there they'll be, and I'll be like, okay, have a good show, good luck, Eddie. And then I'll look back at the camera and I'll rehearse my opening lip. And I'll go, okay, 20 seconds to live. Turn around, they've buggered off. I'm like, oh, thanks, boys, great timing. So then I'm looking in the crowd and letting them know that we're about to go live on the telly. But this year, at a race at the side of the championship, and you wouldn't have known this because hopefully it didn't show on the telly, Eddie didn't turn up. So we're going 1 minute to on air, 30 seconds to on air, Eddie still hasn't appeared, right? Where was he? Well, we still don't know. So I'm standing like in the pit lane here, looking at the camera, and they go on air in 10, 9, and then behind me from here, Eddie comes hurtling out of the garage, like this, running down behind me. So I'm looking to get out of shot, and he steps to the left, just as they cut to us live, and I go, good afternoon and welcome to the penultimate race of the 2011 Formula 1 season. By the time I walked to find him, Eddie was there. And afterwards I said, don't do that again, because I've got a million things to think about. What are you talking about? I was bloody brilliant. Well, you can't be arguing with that, can you?
Tell you what, you've got the accent down. That's really good.
It's okay, isn't it? I have to listen to that voice a lot.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And you see this is called notes. This is a clipboard. It's not an iPad.
Yeah, well, exactly. You need to invest.
So what? Next year, 2012, we've got 20 races on the calendar, hopefully. Hopefully Bahrain goes ahead, hopefully Austin goes ahead. What are you most looking forward to? What's the race that you think, I might tap my bags for that race?
I know it sounds cheesy, but it's always the same answer for us, and it's a British Grand Prix. We love going to Silverstone. And this year, once again, 3 men will arrive on the bike. Detour around a couple of campsites perhaps and arrive for the race. But it's a really special Grand Prix, and it's like nothing else for us. I think the other race I've really learned to love doing this job is Singapore. The night race. It's just it's fascinating. Obviously David's driven with us, but I'm sure he has a really
I would agree about Silverstone. When I first went there camping in 1990, thankfully it didn't rain that year, as far as I recall. So, you know, I've got a lot of fond memories and been lucky enough to win that race. But I like all the M's as well. So that's Monaco, Melbourne, Montreal. They're all great events. Malay, well, that doesn't start with an M in Scotland. I forgot about that. I don't like that one quite so much. Are you tweeting? He's a prolific tweeter. So I guess does that mean I'm the twat in your tweet? Yeah, okay. And
you do me way for Jake's...
yeah, we tweet that, can't you? to which most of the picture in there. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? Well, that's great. There's a couple of people waving like the Queen. It is the Queen, yeah, it's like motorsport.
F1 royalty, David.
Your Highness. And yeah, anyway, the 3 M's I really like because you're in the city and you know they come alive for the whole Grand Prix. So, but I've said before, and if anyone's been walking around the show this morning, you know, I genuinely am a fan of motorsport. I love it, and I've loved it since I was a little boy. And my mum and dad are here, and you know, I have such great memories of watching Formula 1 on the BBC as it was back then as well. And you know, I really feel a sense of me playing my part, handing the sport over to the next generation, and hopefully those who are following it enjoy it. Maybe those young racers that are aiming for Formula 1 in the future. So I really want us to do the best show we can, and generally just share the energy and enthusiasm for what I think is a great sport. That you can share the love, I'll share the energy and enthusiasm.
And how many of you guys out here, how many of you guys are going to be at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix?
Oh, brilliant, well done, mate. How many of you is it your first time at the Grand Prix? First time? Yeah, okay, F1 racers, brilliant. This one? Eddie, yeah, pretty good. You'll love it. There's nothing that will educate you like hearing the F1 cars and seeing them for real, seeing the genuine speed of those cars. It's just stunning. So we'll see you there, enjoy yourself.
It's still one of the best events on the calendar, isn't it? It's very important that we have a Grand Prix in Britain.
Oh, essentially this is the home of motor racing. 8 of the 12 teams are based here. This is a British success story. And I'm telling you right now, if you picked up this event and took it to any other country in the world and dropped it down, this ground would disappear by a half or 3/4. You know, the passion and the love for Formula 1 and motor racing in this country is like nothing else. And that's the biggest thing we try and convey with our coverage. You know, we might not have the oodles of money that other people have got, but we've got the honesty, we've got the people, and hopefully we've got the connections and the relationships with the drivers and the teams to really do justice to a country that loves Formula 1.
And just quickly before you go, tip for 2012, who would you, or first of all, who would you like to see win and who do you think will win?
I would like to see Michael Schumacher win a race. I know it might not be the most popular thing to say in it, but I would love to present the programme when he wins a race. I know that's not, he wouldn't agree, no. He would like to see Michael Schumacher not win a race. But to win the title, I'd really like to see Mark Webber win the world title. You know, I think he's had a really tough year. He's had a really tough year, been beaten soundly by Sebastian. I just think it's amazing. Imagine all the jobs that you do or the school that you go to, at the end of the day you sit down and someone gives you a piece of paper and a piece of paper related to your colleague and says he was better there, she was better there, you were slower there, you're not as good for this or that reason. And you get that, and you live with that, you know, race after race, week after week. Mark's had to go through that shit. I'd love to see him on the top 7 of the podium or winning races once again. And of course, JP and Lewis, who wouldn't want to see those guys in the world title. So it's going to be an interesting year for McLaren.
What about you, DC? Your money's on Kinney, isn't it?
Kinney, no, he'll certainly be the fastest man in the bar because he's spent some notorious for like a little drink afterwards. You know, just because we don't know of course what's going to happen, but I would love a Formula 1 where all the cars are exactly the same and we're just seeing the battle of the drivers. That's never going to happen of course, but wouldn't you really want to find out if you had Lewis and Lando, they had them for 1 year at the same car, but Lewis, Lando, Jensen, says, Michael, Nico, all of these guys, Mark, and all of the particular drivers that would love to be in winning cars, really going wheel to wheel and seeing who the best is, because the difference between winning and losing is literally fractions of a second. But you know, we hope that some of the smaller teams who develop their cars and get a great year. I don't know who's going to come through. You know, Mercedes will come forward a little bit, I would say. Sometimes a bit stronger. Ferrari, the decent changes with Pat Ferrari, which I worked with before at McLaren. So I think we'll have some new systems in place that might take time for it to come through.
6 world champions on the grid, Jane. This is a first for F1.
Oh, it's incredible. You know, a quarter of the grid have already won the title. We've got Ferrari effectively signing up every single person to have anything to do with Formula 1 in case it wins them the world title. We've got McLaren and Mercedes, who both had years that they would like to forget. You know, McLaren haven't started the season strongly for a couple of seasons. Mercedes will have huge pressure on them from the guys that are selling the road cars to say, come on, you win races, we sell cars, that's how the business works. So there's massive pressure there. teams at the back of the grid are no longer the new teams, they need to develop. And what a battle we saw between these 4 cars in the midfield. You know, Williams' worst season in Formula 1, it can't happen again. Renault falling off the pace hugely after their exhaust proved that it couldn't be exercised to the nth degree.
Lotus,
yeah, okay, Lotus, yeah, now they're now Lotus. Yeah, I've got to get with all these names, haven't I? And then Sahara Force India, as they are now known, having their best ever season, and Toro Rosso have completely changed drivers. So the battle in the midfield is going to be stunning. At the back, they have to start scoring some points and doing something to prove that they should be in Formula 1. And at the front, they can't allow Red Bull to do what they've done the last 2 years. They just cannot have it. So I think all those things combined, along with 6 world champions and David Coulthard, is going to give us a season to remember.
Well, it should be absolutely fascinating. You guys will be there to take us through it. Thank you very much for coming up on the stage. David Coulthard and Jake Humphrey.
I love you. Thanks so much for coming. Have a great day at the show.